Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the Grey. Today's video, it is Battlescroll time. We have the brand new Battlescroll for Warhammer Age of Sigmar Tactics of Andor, September 2023. Now, we're going to go through all the changes, talk about them, talk about some of the impact this has on the overall game, not just match play as well, because reading through some of these, there's an interesting point I want to make that has an issue with balancing the game as a whole. Using only match play as the way to base the game, I think there's an issue here with one of the patches they've sort of gone with. I'll also note, changes from the previous Battlescroll are highlighted in magenta. This is getting really terrible. I hate the coloured backgrounds they've got here. In some of these, as someone who is colourblind myself, these are incredibly hard to read. For many of them, I have to actually do this, click on them, so I can actually get a different sort of colour. It's not a good colour, so just straight out the gate, GW, could you just put these on a white background, border them instead of doing this sort of color, put like a black border around each one if you want to sort of box them in or something like that, because it definitely makes it really hard to read if you are colorblind, especially on one of the ones on a future page. But with that said, anyway, my little colorblind rant over with. Today's video is brought to you by Gap Games, a fantastic retailer in Australia for a variety of different miniature war games. If you'd like to help support the channel, we have an affiliate link where by clicking on and purchasing, you'll help support the channel, but you'll also help support Gap Games, which is a fantastic servant to the community. Let's look at the changes. And so we've got all these ones. We're not going to go through any of the ones that already exist. We're just going to have a look at all the ones that are new. And so, first of all, Law of Primal Frost, Rupture, you can change to. Rupture is a spell that has a casting value of 10 and a range of 18. If successfully cast, resolve one of the following effects. You either pick one enemy incarnate within range invisible to the caster, inflict D3 mortal wounds on the unit bonded to that incarnate, then the incarnate immediately loses a power level to a minimum 1 and becomes wild. Or you can pick one predatory endless spell within range visible to the caster that was summoned by an enemy wizard, inflict D3 mortal wounds on that enemy wizard, then the endless spell is dispelled. So a change to Rupture there for the better. Cool. This one is a big one for me though. Law of Primal Frost, Merciless Blizzard. Now, there are a lot of people calling for this to be dropped down, you know, maybe have its power, maybe 4d3, I've heard 3d6, you know, d6 plus 6, something like that. But the change they've made is the ability to sort of alpha strike with it. So the caster cannot be set up or moved earlier in the phase. So really, really important with that. I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be early in the turn, because earlier in the phase, oh no, earlier in the phase, yeah, sorry, it would be hero phase, of course it would. What am I thinking? So yeah, I like that, you know, not being able to, you know, sort of skid leap a wizard over and then do something, or bring them in the hero phase, all that sort of shenanigans gone, so pretty happy with that. No reward without risk, feedback overload is just sort of changed. When a wizard hero is slain before removing that model on a 4+, the wizard explodes. So each unit within a number of inches equal to it suffers D3 mortal wounds. And then Endless Spells, Malevolent Maelstrom, now does 3 mortal wounds to wizard heroes nearby when it explodes, and if the dice besides in 6. So cool. And Endless Spells, Umbral Spell Portal. An Endless Spell set up in this manner does not count as having moved, but cannot move until the next hero phase is added to the last sentence. So it doesn't count as having moved, so there is some, you know, things that work around that, so just worth noting on how that sort of works now. But all in all, I think these are positive changes on the stuff. I'll be interested to see how the Merciless Blizzard goes, because it's not sort of honed in its power. It still is a ridiculously powerful spell. It now is just harder to get off. You now have to sort of set up. Your opponent has more chance to sort of move out of range of that spell. I think, you know, you can use threat zones with it, so it'll have an effect on the table still. It'll just be a very different effect potentially. We go into Andor and we go to Order, and this is the one I'm talking about. These, for someone colorblind, is really, really hard to see. Now, the first one here I want to talk about is add to the following battle tactic, secure the battlefield to the Stormcast Eternals. Now, first of all, you complete this battle tactic at the end of your turn if there are friendly Stormcast Eternal units wholly within each large quarter of the battlefield and more than 6 inch from all enemy units. That's actually somewhat easy to do if you're playing, you know, a Silence of the Storm one, you can easily do this and bring down some defensive or shooter units in each table quarter that you don't have models in, so pretty easy to sort of do. A little bit harder if you're playing Stormkeep, but I want to bring out the point of this. Battle tactics as a way to balance the game. These are actually a really bad way to balance the game. First of all, because they're effectively just awarding 3 points. That's what they're trying to do. They're going, well, your army isn't great, so we're just going to give you a free 2 points over the course of the game. But also, these don't actually change the game state for more casual and narrative style plays of the game. We are still going to have issues in that game with armies that are currently maybe overperforming and armies that are currently underperforming, because many of those game modes don't use battle tactics. Battle tactics are almost exclusively a match play thing. They're not part of the core game system of Warhammer Age of Sigmar. They are a battle pack based thing. So for me, these actually are not a great way to fix the game at all, because in many modes of play, they just aren't actually going to be the fix. There's no fix. So there's no actual fix here for Stormcast Eternals in, say, Path to Glory. And so if you're playing with an underpowered army in Path to Glory and you're just getting a battle tactic, it's not actually going to help you in any way. Great Nation New Metrica actually gets a really cool change. I like this one. Effectively, its ability now, instead of ignoring Rend 1 and ignoring Rend 1 and 2, respectively, depending if you're in your Metrica or if you're sort of the base Alarith units, it now is reducing. So it's no longer if your opponent has Rend 3, they get Rend 3. Rend 3 will now be, Rend 2 or 1, depending if you're just base Alarith or in Alarith and your Metrica. Deep Thinkers, you can have this modified. The cannot be modified from the rule is removed, and once per so means the roll can be modified, the 9. So if you've got bonuses there, you can boost it up, which is pretty cool. And then we have INF Deepkin. Change Bloodthirsty Shiver to you can include Bloodthirsty Shivers in your army, and if they get 6 to the hit, they score 2 hits instead of 1. Cool, a nice little extra bit of damage out of them. Though the Bloodthirsty Shivers, they don't have an awful lot of attacks on your Alapexes. It'll generate a few extra hits in there, sure. But cool, nonetheless, I like it. Grand Alliance Chaos Magnakin of Nurgle, once again, a battle tactic. Just not a fan of these at all. Now, pick an objective wholly outside your territory. Complete this battle tactic at the end of your turn if you control the objective, and any friendly Rotbringer units and friendly Nurgle Demon units will contest that objective. So, cool. Skaven add Flee as a battle tactic. Complete this battle tactic at the end of turn if any friendly Skaven battle line units retreat in this turn and any friendly Skaven heroes retreated in this turn. Cool, like very Skaven battle tactic. I like that as an idea for a battle tactic. Skaven have a lot of retreat and charge as well, so it can be quite an interesting battle tactic. But this is the big change here. Grace Hero on Screaming Bell and the Plague Priest on Plague Furnace. Delete pushed into battle rule. Honestly, I'm not sad to see it go. It doesn't look as nice on the table when there aren't hordes of rats around your Plague Furnace or Screaming Bell, though. I'd rather the push to battle, and you had people going, well, why don't the Daughters of Cain ones need it? The Daughters of Cain ones should have been pushed into battle as well. While I get why they're removing it, I would have much rather seen this be a thing that stayed, and the other chariots that needed to be pushed into battle have pushed into battle. Slaves to Darkness, Kabbalist, Blasphemous Rituals, change the second paragraph to, in addition, when you carry out the Draw and Power heroic action with Kabbalist Hero, you can carry it out with all of your either God's Keyword heroes within 3 inch. We then have some changes here to the Death Grand Alliance as well. Night Haunt, Fight or Flight, you change this to when the battle ends, you complete the grand strategy if one or more objectives are being contested by Night Haunt units. There are no enemy units within 6 inch of any friendly Night Haunt units that are contesting an objective. Ossiarch Bone Reapers, Mortarka the Necropolis, Mortarka Sacrament, and Bone Shaper abilities all change how they bring back Mortis Guard. If you're actually bringing back models to the unit, you can freely heal 3 wounds on the unit, but on a 3+ is what needed to return a model to the unit. So not guaranteed, a 66% chance, 2 in 3 chance, but not guaranteed anymore. And then Spirit Gale is changed to do a mortal wound to 6 units or 3 units depending on the casting roll. All pretty solid changes. I like that change for the Bone Reapers. The big stuff is harder to bring back. Cool. Destruction has no changes. I assume this is probably because we're going to see a few updates and stuff. They want to see how the new book that literally is coming out this weekend hits the meta, I would assume. And then that book will have maybe some effect on the FAQs and stuff, depending on how it sort of works. But then we go into points. So we have our Chaos stuff. Oh no, they've not done it in Grand Alliance on this. Okay, it's INF Deepkin. We see points drops across the board. Probably the Leviathan dropping to actual 400 is cool. Ever wanted one as an ally? It's there. Slain Starmaster going up 15. Stormcast seeing a few 20-point drops, a few 10-point drops. Most of the 10-point drops are on units that, okay, 10-point drops on units that will matter. Liberators, Sequitors, Vindictors. I like all those drops. All on pure battle line units is good. But also seeing the two types of Annihilators dropping by 20. Lord Imperator and Relictor dropping 20 as well. I think that's a nice bunch of drops for Stormcast in all honesty. Annihilators. 3 Annihilators at 150 is cool. I like that. Slaanesh, we've seen a bunch of the shooter units and some of the characters go up. The Contorted Epitome up 20. And then we've seen Fiends, Myrminesh, Painbringers, and Slaying of Fiendbloods all drop. Maggotkin, we've seen a bunch of decreases, but a single increase in the Harbinger of Decay, which is 100% right. That Harbinger of Decay War Scroll was amazing. The Glotkin down to 580. He's getting where he needs to be. Rodigus to 400 as well is nice. I like a lot of these changes. Skaven C drops to the Greyseer and Screaming Bell. I mean, you just need to change that War Scroll. Slaves to Darkness, Karkadrak and Chaos Warriors dropping 20. Chaos Warriors at 180 is looking good. 150 for the Therodons as well. Nighthorn, Lady Alinda down to 270 is a nice drop for her. And then just some small drops on some other units. Ossiarch Bone Reapers, Gothstar Harvester, Mortek Crawler, and Mortek Guard all dropping 20. Cavalos Death Riders up 10, and Catacross up 40 to 500. That's an interesting one. So no change. They're obviously not wanting to double hit the Necropolis Stalkers and Immortus Guards, so they've done the rule change rather than the points change on them. So will that be enough? Should they have done a points change as well? And then Soulbite Gravelords. I mean, this is fully expected. Pluses across the board. Plus 30 on zombies to 150 for zombies. This is an interesting one because, like, I was having a chat with mates about the zombies. Like, 20 zombies should be costing 100 points. The difference here is, like, they should be a unit that is worth 100 points for 20 models. Like, they should do nothing. I remember back in Fantasy, zombies did absolutely nothing, but your Necromancer would just be able to park something there, and there would just be a roadblock that your opponent had to deal with. I don't think zombies should have mortal wounds. I don't think zombies need any of that. Like, make them literal bodies. That is what they should be. I have a problem with, like, zombies being, you know, so expensive as a unit. They should be a terrible unit, but they should be cheap as well. That's sort of their thing, like, to me. I'm not keen on zombies being, you know, 150 points. Vampire Lord and Zombie Dragon going up. Torgilius the Chamberlain going up to 180 as fully expected. So sort of double hit the zombies, so that big sort of bonus. And then Gorslav going up 20 as well. So we're seeing, you know, those sort of characters together going up. That is all the points changes too. So we've not seen any other points changes by them. I think, you know, maybe the Mortek, the Immortus Guard and the, forget the name, Deathstalkers. I forget the name of them. The two bigger Ossiarch Bone Reaper units probably should have been in there. Just make zombies worse. Make them not so bloody good is probably what should happen to them. I'm not a fan of them. I do like Stormcast Eternal points drops, though, and, you know, the Leviathan at 400, nice. Maggotkin drops are nice. The Skaven ones are interesting. I don't think it's really going to affect much Skaven. Slaves to Darkness is an interesting lot as well. I think, you know, Warriors and Therodons going down is nice. Especially the Warriors at 180. I think that's a really solid point value for them. Alinda going down, and some of the more specialist units like Bladegeist and Dreadscythe going down is cool. But all in all, I think there are some glaring issues with this battle scroll for me. I think we still are going to see fundamental issues with the game state of particular armies maybe doing a little bit over well. I really dislike the battle tactics as a way to fix, because like I said, it doesn't affect many ways to play. And narrative and all that, we do care about having a balanced game as well. Like, it's not quite as important, obviously, as match play, because we will make rules and stuff up. But, you know, having problem armies in the game and then armies that are not performing as well, getting something that actually they don't have access to in different modes of play is not a great fix. Also, please change the colouring of this GW. With that said, though, what do you think of the Battle Scroll? I'd love to hear from everyone down in the comments below. And that's the end of the video. We hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and also drop a comment down below letting us know what you thought about the video. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our fine little community here at Sinful Gaming, we have a Discord server linked down in the video's description. Also linked down in the video's description are the best ways to help support the channel. You can use one of our affiliate links to Gap Games or Element Games if you're in Australia or the United Kingdom, or you can subscribe to our YouTube members or Patreon, or grab some merch from our merch stores on Teespring or Ko-fi. All the best ways to help support the channel. As a special thanks to all our Patreon and YouTube members, we'd like to give them all a shout out. So thank you to our Patrons: Broken Chef, Andy C, Grimscold, Colorblind Magic, Benjamin Swallows, James Cater, Mark Harvey, Domir, Average Wargamer, JJ Austrian, Cure Dynamic, Andrew Bowen, Outer and Shot First, Kenny Lowell and Soren. And to our YouTube members: Green Roots Gaming, Ronya, Lock Lorick, The Johnny84, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Monty's Tabletop Terrain, James Tillman, Disco, John Castle, and Gargamel196. Thank you all once again for watching. Like, subscribe, comment down below. Stay safe, everyone. Stay well. And most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.